Hi everyone, welcome to Beat Breakdown, a new series where I take you through some of the beats I make on the MC-101. In this episode, I'll break down the simple sequence I recorded to make my fake sidechain video and show you how I used my DAW to polish off the track. This video will be made up of 3 sections: a walkthrough of each of the 4 tracks on the MC-101, a walkthrough of each of the edits I made in Ableton Live, and a playthrough of the finished track. Let's get started with the MC-101. Track 1, Drums. I use a default kit for this track called 90s Kit Comp. And the pattern is a really basic 1-bar loop based around the following bass drum and snare clap pattern. For the hi-hats, I've used substeps to create hi-hat rolls. To do this, hit Shift and press the pad you want to edit, and then change the sub-parameter. I've also edited the velocity of each note to make it less robotic. Track 2, Chords. The next track has my chord pattern. The sound I used is called Polysynth 2, and I used my fake sidechain technique to get a pumping sound. See my fake sidechain video for more. Then, for some variation, I used a scatter only on track 2. Watch my subtle scatter video to see how to do this. Track 3, Bass. The next track has a bass pattern. It's a simple 2-bar bass pattern with a patch called Fat Analog Bass. Just plain and simple. Track 4 is the lead. The lead is created with a patch called Square Edge. Again, nothing special with this track. Here's everything together. I then multi-tracked the performance from my first video into Ableton. Watch my multi-track videos for instructions on how to do this. I then did some editing to finish off the track. Here's what I did to each track. Ableton drums. The drums was a simple 1-bar loop, so I had to use quite a lot of processing and tricks to make it sound interesting, or it would very quickly sound boring. The first thing I did was mono the bass frequencies to make sure that the bass drum was coming through the middle of the mix. I then added a compression plugin. Even though the 90s kit had a compressor on it, I was going for an over-compressed sound. The preset kits didn't have much in the way of panning setup, so I added a shaper box to also pan only the high frequencies of the hi-hat pattern to create some movement. There's the Pultec EQ with a push-pull setting to enhance the bass drum. And another EQ to turn down the volume of the snare a little bit. Also, to create some variation to the 1-bar pattern, I automated a delay send. It's almost like a fill at the end of the pattern. You can also see I've got different compression presets which I change between different sections of the song to create even more subtle variation. You can hear the gate compression has slightly tighter transients, and so the bass and snare doesn't ring out as loud the second time around. To create another section of the drums, I used a resampling technique where I created a clip which I used volume automation to get rid of the hi-hat. I also used automation on the delay to create another fill-like effect. I resampled that into another track and used it for the intro and outro. And also some fills. I then layered some additional cymbal sounds like crashes and risers from Splice to help the 1-bar loop with transitions. Ableton Chords. The first thing in my chain is a utility. I've set the bass to mono and increased the stereo width to make the track slightly wider. I've then added some distortion and chorus to the track. It's very subtle and you can barely hear it. There is some EQ to get rid of the low end, and another couple of instances of shaper box, as I wanted to sidechain out the additional tails from the chorus effect that I added in. Then I automated some effects in and out to create some more variation to the pattern. There's an auto filter to do a filter sweep as part of the middle of the track. There is also some automation using a chorus effect to emphasize the transition between sections. Here it is with and without. Right at the end, I use a beat repeat and auto filter to create a slowed down swing effect for the outro. Ableton Bass. I again use a utility to mono the bass. The tuner is there because I forgot which notes I played. There's some EQ and distortion to fatten out the bass a bit. I use a transient master just to tighten up the mix by boosting the attack and shortening the sustain. And then I overcompress the hell out of it as I was going for a wall of sound type mix. All of this processing seems to have introduced some weird high pitch frequencies, so I used the final EQ to get rid of them. In order to create some variation, I used some pitch automation to create new sections of the bass line. Ableton Lead. For the lead, I doubled the track and pitched one down an octave and panned them left and right to create some width. On one of the tracks, I added some phaser effects and panning, just for some additional movement. There's also another compressor. I then grouped the tracks together so that I could sidechain them. I then muted a lot of the recorded lead track as I found it too annoying once the vocals were added in. Finally, I found a vocal from Splice and laid it on top. Here's the final track. I hope you like it. That's it for this video. Please check the description for download details for the project file. Remember to check out my other videos for more MC-101 content. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to T-Break Beats for more videos like this one.